Jennifer, will you be able to come home early tonight? In an office high up in one of Boston's financial district skyscrapers, maple buds swayed in the spring breeze outside the window. Jennifer felt her face soften into a smile at Robert Thompson's message. Yes, I should be able to wrap things up early today. As she pressed send, she savored the love she felt for her husband of 7 years. As a senior accountant at a major accounting firm, Jennifer earned a stable income of $120,000 a year. She had invested $300,000 in Robert's real estate development business. More than just an investment, it was a testament to their marital bond. 7 years ago, she first met Robert while auditing his company's accounts. Captivated by his intellectual and gentlemanly demeanor and his dedication to his work, they dated for 2 years before marrying. She had invested most of her $450,000 in savings in her husband's business because of that trust. In the quiet residential area of Chestnut Hill, Jennifer's Volvo XC60 glided into the driveway of their colonial-style home, which looked far younger than its 50 years thanks to meticulous maintenance. As she opened the front door, Robert greeted her with his usual gentlemanly smile, dressed in an expensive designer suit. Seeing the new BMW 5 Series parked in the driveway confirmed to her that business was going well. Welcome home. Eleanor's here today too. In the living room, her mother-in-law Eleanor sat sipping tea with her refined bearing. A regular at the Boston Symphony Orchestra's opening performances and the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum's gala dinners, she embodied the old-money upper-class atmosphere of the Thompson family. While outwardly playing the role of a gentle lady, there was sometimes an inexplicable coldness in the way she looked at Jennifer. "Jennifer, welcome home from work. Would you like to join me for some tea? It's Darjeeling First Flush." Eleanor's voice was soft, perfectly matching that of a genteel lady. Yet something lurking in the edges of her words sent a chill down Jennifer's spine. Lately, she had been having frequent private conversations with Robert. Their discussions would abruptly stop when Jennifer approached, replaced by forced smiles. Still, she returned their warmth with the same warm smile as always, believing that her commitment to family bonds could overcome any sense of discord. "Thank you, Eleanor." As she accepted the tea, Jennifer observed the two of them. Her heart swelled with anticipation at Robert's words about planning a special surprise. Next week was her 35th birthday. For these 7 years, she had played the role of the ideal wife, excelling both at work and home, dutifully listening to even her mother-in-law's minor opinions. The thought that her precious family was preparing a special gift for her made her heart dance with joy. Looking at her newly purchased navy dress, Jennifer daydreamed about next week's birthday dinner. Though she had hesitated at the $2,000 price tag, Robert had immediately encouraged her, saying, "It suits you perfectly." A week before her birthday, Robert's behavior noticeably changed. Her husband, who usually left for work early in the morning, suddenly took time off to prepare breakfast. Eleanor visited frequently, becoming emotional to the point of tears, saying, "At my age, I'm so blessed to have such a wonderful daughter." Even when Jennifer caught them in private discussions, she believed without doubt that they were planning her birthday surprise. The day before her birthday, Robert came home unusually early. "I've reserved a special place for tomorrow night," he said in a gentle tone. When he asked, "Have you decided what to wear?" Jennifer showed him the new navy dress. "Beautiful. I can't wait for tomorrow." Her heart raced at his words. April 30th. The morning of her birthday dawned with refreshing spring sunshine. The street trees in Chestnut Hill were tinged with new green, and tulips swayed in the breeze by the front door. Since it's a special day, try to finish work early, Robert smiled kindly over breakfast. Yes, I've arranged everything to leave by 4 o'clock. Let's meet at Le Jardin at 6. Eleanor will be there too. Le Jardin on Newbury Street was Boston's most exclusive French restaurant. Since earning its Michelin star, it had been booked solid 6 months in advance. The fact that he had secured a reservation there made her feel his love even more deeply. That day, Jennifer took unusual care with her makeup in the restroom. She applied her new Chanel lipstick and adjusted her necklace. The reflection in the mirror looked youthful and happy beyond her 35 years. Leaving work at 4 as planned, she went home to shower and change into her new dress. Though she had hesitated at the $2,000 price tag, she was now certain it had been the perfect choice. The deep navy silhouette created a stunning effect. Before starting her Volvo, she called Robert just to be sure. I'll be there soon. I'm already at the restaurant. Eleanor just arrived too. The background noise conveyed the atmosphere of the upscale restaurant. Newbury Street was more crowded than usual. At 6:05, she finally arrived at Le Jardin. After leaving her car with the valet, she opened the heavy doors with anticipation building in her chest. Inside, soft light fell from chandeliers. White tablecloths and gleaming wine glasses set the stage for a special evening. She even caught sight of a sommelier carrying an expensive champagne from the wine cellar. Reservation for Thompson. The uniformed staff member showed a confused expression. I'm sorry, but we don't have any reservations for today. Please check again. It's under my husband's name, Robert Thompson. No, we don't have any reservations under that name. Unable to hide her distress, she immediately called Robert. But the call went straight to voicemail. Eleanor's phone did the same. Her messages weren't even being read. Anxiety and panic mingled together. There might have been some mistake. Thinking this, she tried nearby restaurants. But none had any reservations. Her heart began to race. It was past 7 and already dark outside. Staring at her phone screen, she got into a taxi. To Chestnut Hill, please. Her voice trembled slightly as she gave the direction. The street lights along the road seemed strangely ominous. When she got out of the taxi in front of her house, her chest was already dominated by great anxiety. As she approached the entrance, the sense of wrongness amplified. The windows, which should have been letting out warm light, were unnaturally dark. Jennifer caught her breath as she tried to insert her key. The deadlock was already disengaged. With trembling hands, she opened the door to find an unimaginable sight. The living room was completely empty. The sofa, table, TV, decorations, everything was gone. Only white marks remained on the walls where picture frames had been. Robert. Her cry echoed through the empty house. Running to the bedroom, she found the closet door wide open. Not only were her husband's clothes gone, but all of her clothes had disappeared too. Opening her vanity drawer, she found that even the jewelry inherited from her mother had vanished without a trace. As panic overtook her, she searched the entire house. Then she noticed an envelope on the kitchen counter. Pink with cute heart patterns. Its incongruity sent chills down her spine. With trembling fingers, she opened the envelope and took out the card inside. Congratulations! Enjoy your new life. Oh, and by the way, your bank account is empty too. Love, Robert and Eleanor. In that moment, all strength left her body. As she collapsed to her knees, she desperately operated her phone. Logging into online banking, an unbelievable number was displayed. All account balances, $0. The next morning, Jennifer experienced despair again at the cold response from the local police station. I'm sorry, but this is a marital property issue. We'll have to treat it as a civil matter. The young officer behind the desk started to return the documents to a file. But this is clearly fraud. My savings, my jewelry, everything was taken. As Jennifer pleaded with a trembling voice, an older female officer approached from another room. Detective Mary Johnson. Appearing to be in her late 50s, she quietly offered Jennifer a warm coffee and a chair. I've seen similar cases before. What appears on the surface to be a marital property dispute often conceals a larger crime. Mary took out her business card and wrote a phone number on the back. Please visit this person. James Wilson. He's the most trusted private investigator in Boston. That afternoon, Jennifer visited an old office building in Back Bay. At the end of the hallway, frosted glass doors bore the letters, Wilson Investigation. Responding to her knock was James Wilson, 53. Salt and pepper hair and a deeply lined face. However, his sharp gaze spoke of years of experience. First, please tell me everything that's happened since last night. Wilson switched on an old tape recorder. Jennifer explained everything step by step. Their meeting at work, 2 years of dating, 7 years of marriage. And then the events of last night. By the time she finished, dusk was showing through the window. The investigation fee starts at $5,000. At those words, Jennifer momentarily lost her voice. Her accounts were empty, and she only had a few $100s in cash. Is a payment plan? I'm sorry. With this type of investigation, speed is crucial. Evidence could be destroyed. Seeing Jennifer's desperate expression, Wilson quietly continued. Why not ask a friend? This case smells like we're dealing with some serious players. It'll be a race against time. Late that night, Jennifer called her best friend from college, Sarah Martinez. Known as a capable female lawyer, she immediately arranged the $5,000 upon hearing the story. This isn't a loan. It's an investment. An investment in your new life. Jennifer couldn't hold back her tears at Sarah's words. The investigation progressed faster than expected. First, the moving company was identified. A familiar truck was captured on a local business's security camera. According to Wilson's investigation, this company was also active in the Cambridge area. There's a family that recently moved into Cambridge's upscale residential area. Wilson spread photos on the desk. A luxurious Victorian mansion. Market value, $2.5 million. The owner is. As the detective intentionally paused, Jennifer caught her breath. Robert Thompson. But that was just the beginning. Wilson revealed an even more shocking fact. He has another family. Catherine Miller, a 36-year-old high school teacher. She was living a luxurious life with her 16-year-old daughter Emma, who attended the local prestigious Nobles and Greenough School. Moreover, that marriage had already lasted 16 years, far predating his marriage to Jennifer. Eleanor visits this house 3 times a week. The photos showed Eleanor embracing Emma. Her expression was clearly different from how she looked at Jennifer. It was filled with genuine affection. Catherine Miller comes from an upper-class background. She and Eleanor are old acquaintances from society circles. And Wilson pulled out new documents. This school's tuition is $50,000 per year. Part of those payments came from your assets. The bank records told everything. The $300,000 that Jennifer thought she had invested had been channeled through multiple corporate accounts and ultimately used for Emma's tuition. Moreover, the method had been perfectly planned. They were wary of you being an accountant from the start. That's why they conducted such sophisticated fund transfers. Wilson showed her his laptop screen. Multiple shell accounts, fictitious transactions, elaborate accounting manipulations. All for Emma's future. Further investigation revealed the full extent of the horrifying plan. Eleanor had been on Catherine's side from the beginning. Knowing about Robert's remarriage, she had kept quiet to Jennifer. More than that, she had worked with Robert to plan how to utilize Jennifer's assets. Their plan was perfect. Wilson continued, exhaling cigarette smoke. The trap at the fancy restaurant. Choosing your birthday as the special day was meant to maximize your emotional damage. The move, the account transfers, everything was planned in advance. In the late-night detective office, Jennifer sat frozen. Outside the window, spring rain fell quietly. But they made one mistake. Wilson pulled out his final trump card. Bigamy is prohibited by federal law. In that moment, Jennifer's eyes held a light never seen before. It was the first step toward a new life, mixed with anger and determination. Sarah Martinez is a lawyer, right? Jennifer slowly nodded at Wilson's words. Call her tomorrow. And the detective delivered his final words with meaningful pauses. Let's report this to the FBI. One sunny morning in May, FBI agents descended on Robert's real estate development company office. Dressed in an expensive suit, Robert accepted the handcuffs with apparent composure as his employees watched. However, clear distress showed in his eyes. At the same time, another arrest was taking place in Chestnut Hill's upscale residential area. Eleanor was arrested during her morning tea. A half-full cup of fine porcelain remained on the table. This must be some mistake. I haven't. Her words trailed off before the FBI agent showing the warrant. In the Cambridge mansion, Catherine and Emma stood dumbfounded. Agents with search warrants were searching the entire house. Family photos on the piano in the living room. Numerous mementos proving 16 years of marriage. And the tuition receipts paid with Jennifer's assets. Mother, what is this? Catherine couldn't answer Emma's trembling voice. In court, evidence was presented one after another. The defendant Robert Thompson first married Catherine Miller in 1991. That marriage continues to this day, with no legal divorce proceedings ever initiated. Sarah continued matter-of-factly. He then married the victim Jennifer Thompson in 2017. This clearly constitutes bigamy. Marriage certificates presented as evidence. 2 dates, 2 signatures. The irrefutable evidence caused a stir in the gallery. Furthermore, the defendants fraudulently diverted approximately $450,000 of the victim's assets. In this process, they used multiple shell accounts and conducted sophisticated fund transfers. Complex money flows projected on screen. Meticulous methods planned to deceive Jennifer's accountant's eye. Then Eleanor's testimony began. It was all my plan. The court fell silent at the unexpected confession. Jennifer was not of our class. We couldn't let an upstart like her use the Thompson family's assets. Jennifer's expression twisted slightly at those words. Catherine was the one worthy of us. Emma's education required substantial funds. Jennifer's assets were for that purpose. Objection. Sarah's voice rang through the court. The defendant is trying to justify prejudice against the victim through her confession. Objection sustained. The judge's gavel fell. Catherine on the witness stand. Her former elegant bearing had faded, replaced by an exhausted expression. I didn't know. Her voice trembled. That Robert had another marriage. Emma couldn't even take the witness stand. The shock of her father's image, which she had believed in for 16 years, crumbling in an instant, had deeply wounded the teenage girl's heart. Judgment Day. For the defendant Robert Thompson, on charges of bigamy, fraud, and embezzlement, I sentence you to 7 years imprisonment and order restitution of $1 million. Robert listened to the sentence with vacant eyes. His intellectual and gentlemanly appearance was gone, leaving only the visage of a common fraudster. For the defendant Eleanor Thompson, on charges of conspiracy and aiding fraud, I sentence you to 5 years imprisonment and order restitution of $500,000. Eleanor maintained her arrogant attitude until the end. However, clear fear showed in her eyes. After the verdict, the collapse of the Catherine household proceeded rapidly. The $2.5 million mansion was sold to pay restitution. Emma had to leave her prestigious private school and transfer to the local public high school. Catherine returned to her family home and initiated divorce proceedings. Learning of Robert's fraud in court had left her with deep psychological trauma. Were our 16 years all lies? Catherine wept in the counseling room. Massachusetts Women's Prison. Through the visiting room glass, Robert sat with slumped shoulders. Why? To Jennifer's question, he finally spoke his true feelings. I couldn't bear your purity. You were too good for someone like me. At those words, Jennifer quietly stood up. Goodbye, Robert. Your new life begins here. Outside, spring sunlight gently illuminated her hair. A year later, a new consulting firm in Boston's financial district was making waves. Thompson & Associates Financial Consulting. Jennifer Thompson, who bore that name, was no longer the woman who had visited the police with trembling hands a year ago. To those suffering from financial domestic violence, Jennifer spoke quietly in an interview with the Boston Globe. You are not alone. There is always a way out. Her company particularly focused on supporting victims of financial domestic violence. Using her expertise as an accountant, she provided comprehensive support from asset protection and recovery to independence support. 80% of our clients achieve financial independence within 6 months. Her former colleagues gathered around her one after another. Knowing Jennifer's integrity and expertise, they didn't hesitate to join her new venture. Meanwhile, at Massachusetts State Prison, Robert's new life had begun. "There are no visitors today, sir." Robert sighed softly at the guard's words. Weekly visiting hours. But no one ever came to see him. Former business associates, friends, all had turned their backs. Suffering from depression, he spent his days in and out of the prison infirmary. The image of him dressed in luxurious suits now seemed like an illusion. Eleanor in the women's prison had completely lost her dignity as well. Suffering from severe pneumonia, she spent her days bedridden in the medical ward. With no friends visiting, she literally experienced complete banishment from society. "Is this the end of my life?" she muttered to the empty space in her cell. The light streaming through the window didn't illuminate her like the chandeliers at past gala dinners. In a quiet residential area of Cambridge, Catherine and Emma had started a new life in a modest apartment. "Mom, I might get a scholarship." Emma, who had transferred to public school, had thrown herself into studying, using adversity as motivation. Her eyes shone brighter than before, freed from worries about tuition. "That's wonderful, Emma." Catherine embraced her daughter. She herself had made a fresh start as a teacher at a local public school, slowly healing her emotional wounds through weekly counseling. And then, one day, in the produce section of Whole Foods Market, Jennifer suddenly stopped selecting apples. The woman reaching for the same apple in front of her was Catherine. For a moment, the air froze. They both spoke simultaneously and couldn't help but share a wry smile. "Would you like to have coffee?" Catherine slowly nodded at Jennifer's offered words. In the store's cafe, the two women faced each other sincerely for the first time. They shared their struggles, anger, and steps toward recovery without hiding anything. "We were both victims, weren't we?" Jennifer quietly agreed with Catherine's words. That weekend, conversations including Emma took an unexpected turn. "Why don't we create a support group for fraud victims?" The two adults showed surprised expressions at Emma's suggestion. "There must be others suffering like we did. Our experience might help them." Thus, the A New Life project was born. With Sarah the lawyer joining as well, they built a comprehensive support system from legal assistance to psychological counseling. In Jennifer's office room, the sparkling surface of the Charles River was visible through the window. While reviewing a new client request, she happened to open her desk drawer. There lay the pink message card from that day. "Enjoy your new life." "Yes, indeed." She smiled. "We've found our true new life." Outside the window, spring winds were swirling cherry blossom petals. A young couple walked hand in hand across the bridge over the Charles River. Jennifer stood up and reached for her coat, heading to a new appointment. The phone rang. A new client. Thompson and Associates Consulting. Her voice carried an unwavering strength never heard before. A new morning was about to begin.